For as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to be a mother. The idea of holding a tiny, precious life in my arms filled me with joy and longing. As I entered my late 20s, this desire only grew stronger. My partner and I had been together for 4 years. We had a stable relationship, but he wasn't ready for kids yet. He wanted to wait until we were more financially secure and had traveled a bit more. I respected his wishes, but my baby fever was overwhelming. One day, during a routine checkup, my doctor mentioned that my fertility might decline faster than average due to a medical condition. Panic set in. I couldn't imagine not having a child. I started to obsess over the idea of getting pregnant. I rationalized that once he saw the baby, he would fall in love and everything would work out. Driven by this overwhelming desire, I made a decision that I now regret. I stopped taking my birth control pills without telling him. I justified it by telling myself that it was for the best, that he would eventually thank me. A few months later, I got the news I had been waiting for. I was pregnant. When I told my partner, his reaction was not what I had hoped for. He was shocked. He couldn't understand how this had happened, and I didn't have the courage to tell him the truth. We decided to move forward and try to make the best of the situation. He was supportive during the pregnancy, attending all the doctor appointments, and helping me prepare for the baby's arrival. 9 months later, our baby girl was born. I expected to feel an overwhelming sense of love and fulfillment the moment I held her. But instead, I felt numb. The baby fever that had driven me to such desperate measures disappeared, and in its place was a sense of emptiness and detachment. The sleepless nights, constant crying, and the relentless demands of a newborn were overwhelming. I found myself resenting her for the changes she had brought into my life. I had thought that having a baby would complete me, but instead I felt trapped and unhappy. The guilt of not loving my own child weighed heavily on me. My partner noticed my struggle. He was doing his best to be a supportive father, but he was also grappling with his own feelings and the stress of being a new father. One evening, he brought up a topic that had been bothering him. He asked why I had changed my diet and started taking prenatal vitamins months before we found out I was pregnant. His tone was curious, not accusatory, but I could see the suspicion in his eyes. I stumbled through my words, trying to come up with a plausible explanation, but his questions continued. He started piecing things together, remembering how I had been unusually enthusiastic about preparing for a baby long before we knew one was on the way. Finally, the truth came out. I confessed that I'd stopped taking my birth control on purpose, hoping to get pregnant. He was devastated. He felt deceived and manipulated. Our relationship, once strong, began to crumble under the weight of this betrayal. We argued frequently, and the distance between us grew. He tried to be there for our daughter, but he struggled with his own feelings of resentment and hurt. We decided to seek counseling, both individually and as a couple. Therapy helped us understand our emotions and work through the betrayal, but it didn't change the fact that I still felt disconnected from my baby. I couldn't shake the feeling that I had made a terrible mistake. Months passed, and while I continued to care for her, the bond I had hoped for never materialized. I felt like a failure as a mother. I envied other women who seemed to naturally fall in love with their babies. I began to question everything: my decision to get pregnant, my relationship, and my ability to be a good mother. I know I made a huge mistake by deceiving my partner and forcing a situation that neither of us was ready for. But I'm trying to find a way to move forward for Daughther's sake and for my own. Is there any steps I can take to build a bond with Daughther and repair my relationship?